Welcome back to Saratoga Live, and Spirit Animal delivers win number 41 for trainer Chad Brown. He breaks his own record that he set 2 years ago, and a man that has certainly been part of the team getting him there, Seth Klarman of Klarovich Stables. And Seth, what a meet for you as well.
Yeah, it's been amazing. Chad gets all the credit. He's an amazing trainer, and we're very fortunate. It's an up and down game, and this is one of those good times.
And you are one of those guys who recognizes that, and you've put so much into this game. I mean, how much does this mean to you to win the owner's title as well?
It's something, you know. I mean, the real accomplishment would be winning Triple Crown race again, or winning a Breeders' Cup race, which we've never done. But we've got a nice crop of 2-year-olds, and we're very excited, and we have separation of powers. So we'll be showing up in Kentucky in November.
Seth, you're a modest man. I didn't even realize that, to be honest. But talking a little bit about this race here in Spirit Animal, I just got to say, I just love this name.
Yeah, it's based on the dam's name. That's a good name. A lot of people talk about having a spirit animal, so it made sense.
Could be Chad's spirit animal, that's for sure.
That's a very nice 2-year-old, still figuring the game out.
Well, he could be one that takes you to the Breeders' Cup as well. But Seth, congratulations on all your achievements this year.
Thank you so much. Great to see you.
All right, guys, back to you.
I mentioned separation of powers. She had a tremendous moment here at this meet, winning the Grade 1 test. And yeah, they do have a lot of talented young runners we could be hearing a lot more from later on this year, and maybe come Breeders' Cup time. Here's a look at the record-setting meet, what's left for Chad Brown today. Coming up in race 7, we'll see Long Haul Bay's got Vegas Kitten and Hazim. Hazim might be the one to beat. Potential favorite in that 8th race, in the Saranac Raging Bull, and then of course 3 horses in the Glens Falls, not to mention Kurlov as well in the Woodward. Loaded today. 41, that's never been seen before in the win column in the trainer standings.
41, it's a famous number if you think about it, but I don't think that number is going to be up there for long. So get that computer ready to change that 1 later today, at least a few times maybe.
Graphics is standing by, we're all over it. Race 7. Starts off the pick 6. It's an allowance optional claiming race. 6.5 furlongs. And Devil's Halo for trainer Steve Asmussen won 2 of 3 starts, including a win here at Saratoga back on August 6th. From a forward position near the lead, your 3-1 favorite with Ricardo Santana Jr.
A little surprised by that. Now, we do have an interesting scratch here in the 2-horse, Mr. Bricks, that I think would have put more speed in the race. Devil's Halo does like to run on the front end, and maybe that's got a little bit to do with this.
21 minutes away from race 7. It kicks off the pick 6 here on Woodward Day. That man, the voice you hear calling the races each and every day on the New York racing circuit. He's the voice of the Triple Crown. We're going to visit with Larry Collmus and get his thoughts on the most memorable moments of this 2018 Saratoga season. That's when we come back.
Switches back to the outside. Exaggerator down to the 16th pole, but Exaggerator has turned the tables. He has won the Preakness. Phoenix has won the Travers over American Flag. Irish War Cry has won the Wood Memorial. Alice. Good Magic's gonna win his first race, and he's gonna do it
here with Naira track announcer and caller of the Triple Crown and Breeders' Cup, Larry Collmus. And Larry, it's been a great season up here at Saratoga. First of all, what was your favorite moment of the meet? Hard to narrow it down.
It's really hard to narrow it down, Maggie. There's been so many good ones. I mean, obviously, at the beginning of the meet, you had that dead heat in the Bowling Green. I mean, that's a great way to start things out, right? And then, obviously, you have the Whitney with Diversify after the 45-minute rain delay, winning that race. Voodoo Song coming back after winning 4 races at Saratoga last year, comes back and wins the Grade 1 4-star Dave. Catholic Boy, of course, in the Travers. All fantastic moments. One sticks out, though, above all of those other ones. When Tradable won here for trainer John Hertler, who is such a great guy, been going through so much over these years, and hadn't won a race in quite a while, and all of a sudden he comes here to Saratoga, and I think, and you know this better than I do, every single person on the backstretch was happy when he won. So that's still the highlight of the meet for me.
It is. My husband actually stabled right next to him and just gave him the biggest hug. He's absolutely the sweetest man on the backstretch, and I think everybody that's at the top of the list here. But we still have 3 days of racing left, including the Woodward. This is by far the most open Woodward that I've seen in recent years.
Yeah, people were asking me, how do you think the race is going to set up? I'm like, when the gates open, I'll know. I have no idea. There's 14 horses scrambling into that first turn, going 1 1/8 miles. I mean, it seems to me on paper, I guess the only real speed maybe is drawn way on the outside. You mentioned to me before the interview, Imperative might go from the 2-hole. I mean, it should be really interesting to see how the race develops as to who's going to win. I guess we'll find out. I have no idea.
Your guess is as good as mine. I'm wide open as well, but 3 Calumet horses in there, that's always a challenge too.
Especially when one's named Patch and the other was named Hence, which gave me fits in the Kentucky Derby when they ran against each other. And I looked at the overnight. You got to be kidding me. They're running again against each other. But I talked to the jockey's room about cap colors, because what happens is all of those horses are wearing the same Calumet silks. So they're going to put, hopefully, a black cap on Patch, a yellow cap on Hence, and a white cap on Term of Art, and that'll help me a lot.
I'm sure it will, especially with all those horses nonetheless on the dirt. And going in, this is obviously a race that leads into the Breeders' Cup, possibly the Classic, and the Breeders' Cup day and weekend is something that you're a part of. How much do you look forward to, and how much of a prep is that?
A lot of work for the Breeders' Cup, and that's going to start pretty much when we get over to Belmont Park. I haven't really thought about it too much. Here at Saratoga, you get so busy with so much stuff that I haven't really seen too many of the Del Mar races. I've got to start watching them. I've got to start watching races from all around the world and get these horses in my head and study their silks and know their quirks and everything. And hopefully by the time they get to the track at Churchill Downs, we'll know who they all are.
Well, Larry, it's been an excellent season up here. Job well done by you, and keep up the great calls.
Thanks. It's been a lot of fun. It always is, and I love talking to all the fans here. That's what makes this place so special.
He is the voice of horse racing's Triple Crown and of New York racing, Larry Collmus. His Woodward call coming up later on this afternoon. Grade 1 in the older horse division. It is a wide open group. We're going to set the stage for race 7. When we come back, there's Chad Brown getting right back to work. Makes history here at this meet. 41st winner. That has never been accomplished before. Can he get number 42 coming up here in the 7th with Long Haul Bay. We'll be back right after this.
This 3-time Graded Stakes winning millionaire defeated 20 Grade 1 winners. In the Dixie Stakes, he defeated Canadian champion and Horse of the Year Up with the Birds and set a new course record at Saratoga. Now the excitement is building as his first foals have arrived this year. Half to 4 Graded Stakes winners, Ironicus has the speed, class, and bloodlines to become the next great sire by Distorted Humor. Ironicus standing at Claiborne Farm.
They're off. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets. Rushes out of there to take the lead. It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Off the turn with a link to the half lead. Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NairaBets.com.
You're watching Saratoga Live on this Memorial Day weekend, and it just so happens to be Woodward Day as we are about 12 minutes out to race number 7. So that means it's time for a paddock report. And as always, brought to you by Hillendale Farm, as we'll start with number 4, Rocking the Boat, who's a bit of a new face around these parts, and especially in the Dale Romans barn, as he'll make his first start for him. Now, the jury's still out, meaning the jury as in me, whether this horse is a true sprinter or not. I know he's won going this distance, but he's also run well going longer. And you look at him physically, you think about his disposition, which is extremely laid back, and he looks like one that wants to run longer than this. He'll be hoping for something to come apart, I would think, in front of him. And two, the little layoff actually concerns me a little bit. He could look just a touch more fit overall, but we'll see. He's kind of an interesting new face amongst these. Number 5 is Phi Beta Express, who has been trying to get through this condition and definitely got back on track in his last start. I think the turf start kind of threw him for a loop, and he just didn't run well there in his next start. But he looks good here once again. So I think Phi Beta Express, especially at this 6.5 distance, should be very effective here for Danny Gargan. Then again, Danny having a trying meet, which is kind of out of character for him. Then finally, number 6 is Long Haul Bay, the overachieving New York bred for Chad Brown. Another one that comes off of a wet track race. And this is a muddy, sloppy, tiring, deep type of surface. And he just looks like a horse that would absolutely hate it because he's so stocky and broad and probably just really couldn't get his feet out of there as much as he would like. And plus, it was wired by a very tough veteran in Weekend Hideaway. Now he's back in a field where he makes sense here. And once again, he looks fantastic. Boy, he looks so strong behind the saddle. He's so well muscled. And Andy, as I throw it over to you, I think he makes a lot of sense in this spot.
I picked him, Maggie, Long Haul Bay. I think he's the best horse if he runs his race, and he did run against the grain of the track with a wide trip and a speed track. I don't totally trust him. I just went the horse I thought was best, Paul.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying. You don't totally trust him. He's a tough horse to trust because he ran good on one sloppy racetrack, but then, like Maggie was saying, maybe he just didn't love that last one. And no
big speed track,
yeah,
too, you know?
No two are alike, you're right. And he's shown ways to rate. He was behind the 8 ball in the Woody Stevens. He had no chance after that break. But the other races, all of them win this in here. And, you know, that race behind Switzerland, it sticks out.
I agree. His race 3 back's very good. The 5 Phi Beta Express, Maggie mentioned that Danny Gargan's having a tough meet. I totally agree, and it is unusual for him. We saw a favor of his not run well earlier today, and I just think Devil's Halo is going to be breathing down his neck.
Yeah.
I don't like him, and I don't think he gets the 6.5 today.
Yeah, Devil's Halo does have a ton of pace and goes from inside to the outside. And, you know, I liked his first win from the outside. Went to the inside, had to be pressured. What happened next time, Andy? Got outside, he won. I thought the 7 could be sneaky, and that's why the public, I guess, is betting the gray.
I think he's overbetting this race. Now, the horse Uno Mas Modelo, 4 wins for Luch and Anthony Cordarolo. It's sort of interesting to see what he does here, but he ran very well last time, good trip or not.
No, he really has. His last 3 races have been around 1 turn and with blinkers, and he has improved.
Post right here coming up. Again, the pick 6 begins here in race 7. Over $117,000 in the pool. And here comes Cake Pop to kick off the post parade for Michael Lauer and Dylan Davis aboard.
This horse appears to be overmatched against this group. He must be a big long shot.
Uno Mas Modelo is the 3. Had a win here at 7/8 at Saratoga back on July 29th for Anthony Cordarolo, and Javier Castellano rides.
Sometimes it's as simple as taking the horse off the best last race. That would be Uno Mas Modelo.
Rocking the Boat, 9-2 currently. Now with Dale Romans. Luis Saez rides for Team Valor.
Don't tip the boat over, huh? Last time this horse was off a year layoff or a long layoff, look what happened. Broke his maiden, so maybe live here at 9-2.
You're just bringing some Fat Boy lyrics, Paula Duca. I like it. Phi Beta Express, Kedrick Carmouche for Danny Gargan.
He is a talented speed horse, and he did run well chasing Pattern Recognition, who's a talented runner, but I think he faces pressure, and the barn is on a rare cold streak.
Here's Long Haul Bay for the record-setting trainer, Chad Brown here. Just collected his 41st winner of the meet. Manny Franco rides for Alpha Delta Stables.
Yeah, 3 for 6 lifetime for the son of Quality Road, and Manny Franco quietly having a very good meet.
And the speedy Devil's Halo for Steve Asmussen with Ricardo Santana Jr. son of Tapit.
He's really putting it together for Steve Asmussen. He's got to take another step forward in this race. It's not going to be easy, but he too is in terrific form.
2 for 3 in his career, and of course a win back on August the 6th here at this meet as we take a look at Chris and Dave. From the outside slot, David Cohen, Robertino Diodoro.
Okay, hear me out on here. This horse is a good bet at 6-1. Look at the two one-turn races. Mile and a 16th at Belmont, a second and 94 buyer, and last time at Saratoga, won by 5.5. Live long shot.
Pick 6. It is coming up next. We will have the first leg for you when we come back. You're watching Saratoga Live on Fox Sports 2 and other regional networks across the country. Stick with us. More to come.
Grade 1 winner Lee traveled the world competing against the best of his generation. A graded stakes winner on both dirt and turf, he set a new track record in the Grade 1 Don Handicap and retired with earnings of more than $2.3 million. Now his flashy first crop yearlings are turning heads with a striking resemblance to their internationally successful sire. The sky's the limit for this promising young stallion. Lee, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Back here on Saratoga Live, crowd taking in the final Saturday here of the meet in Saratoga Springs. You can get signed up started. You can play along from wherever you may be by playing with Naira Bets. $200 new member bonus. Use the promo code Saratoga Live and you can bet any track, anywhere, anytime. As we take a look here at Devil's Halo, already has a win here at the meet for trainer Steve Asmussen.
Yeah, no secret here. Devil's Halo is going to try to go to the front. I don't know if the 5 Beta Express can keep the 7 company Devil's Halo, but it won't be because Kendrick Carmouche on the 5 Beta Express isn't trying. He's going to try to be up there with Devil's Halo. That's going to prompt a quick pace. If you can accept a bad last race out of the 6-horse Long Haul Bay, he's going to have good position on these 2 horses. His races before that are good enough to win here.
Meanwhile, we'll look at Long Haul Bay for Chad Brown. Manny Franco aboard here, and he won the first... well, 3 of the first 4 starts of his career, including a graded stakes race at Aqueduct.
These people know what they're doing. Chad Brown's group knows what they're doing. So there are 3 works for Long Haul Bay since what I think is an unusually bad performance in the John Morrissey stake. He's actually dropping a bit in class coming off that race in the Maryland Sprint. They're not just going to put this horse in just to have an entry. They got all the entries they need. So Long Haul Bay, I think, is right for the race today based on what Chad Brown and his group is doing here.
And here's a look at Rockin' the Boat. Dale Romans, 5-1 right now. This horse used to be Kellen Gorder, moved to Dale Romans' barn, so this will be the debut for the new stable.
I rarely correct you, but Rock the Boat, Don't Tip the Boat Over.
Yeah.
Hughes Corporation back in the 70s. They sang the song.
Can you sing a little bit for us, Tom? Couple of bars, maybe?
Andy, you know that. You know it as well as I do. What is with these young kids?
I don't.
Everything is rap now.
No, they did another version. I saw them live.
Techno pop.
Jeez.
Wait
a second.
LeDuc is ready to sing it. Wait a second.
Hold on a second.
Sorry.
Don't ever accuse me of not knowing my genres here, Tom Amos. That
Well,
was a great
let's
book.
hear it then. Give credit where credit's due.
What do you mean? Don't rock the boat over. Don't
Yeah.
tip the boat over.
Yeah, Hughes Corporation.
100%.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thanks for setting me straight, Tom Amos.
Thank
As a
God Tom
result,
is here.
You finally contributed something to the show. Well done.
38
on your
days
final
to
day.
beat, guys. It finally happened.
I am your
You should
cell
be
check.
bowing up on the roof, Tom.
I knew this promotion to the roof would come in handy one day.
Well, as Tom was enlightening us all about musical history, we missed that great stat on Dale Romans.
You
So
know,
if we could maybe get that up again. 5-1 here in the 4 rocking the boat, Andy.
it's an interesting stat, and obviously Dale is a very, very good trainer. But I think what it says is that they often need a race when he takes them over. This horse hasn't run in just over 3 months, and it just suggests they just often aren't ready to win. Dale's a great trainer. He doesn't need any, he doesn't need us to explain that. He's won all these big races, but when he takes a horse over, they often need a race, and that's the case perhaps rocking the boat.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, and let's look at Rockin' the Boat's, credentials, first of all. His best race by far was over a muddy racetrack. Other than that, he has a 66 buyer, and he won by a nose in back-to-back races. And that was in August and September of last year. And since then, I don't see much. And you know what? The best, I think, tool for handicapping is time. And you look at all the horses that he's really been facing, Leo Friffick, who we'll see later today, but that's about it. I don't see it with the 4.
Minute to post here in race 7. Let's check in with Maggie Wolfendale.
Thanks, guys. Well, I'm basically guaranteeing that Long Haul Bay will make it to the winner's circle as I'm jumping off of him because I didn't love him warming up with iRider Tees. 2 horses, though, that look tremendous out on the track include last time out winner in number 3, Uno Mas Modelo, who will get hot riding Javier Castellano in the irons here today. Just really free movement, well muscled too, second off a little bit of a layout. Now, does he react to running that huge race last time? Also, does he get the setup, which will be helped if number 5, Phi Beta Express, goes out to the front end? And I thought, Kendrick Carmucci really knows this horse, and he gave him the warm-up that I like to see. I like the way he was moving across this racetrack. I think the 6.5 is probably an ideal distance for him, and I'm going to take him here today and hope to get Danny Gargan rolling towards the end of this meet, Greg.
All right, we'll see how it plays out here coming up. Phi Beta Express for Danny Gargan, 4-1 on the board. I want to remind everyone, Del Mar, they have a tremendous card today, including the Grade 1 Del Mar Debutante and the Grade 2 John C. Maybe, which you can bet on Naira Bets. You can use your Naira Bets account to split 250,000 points at Del Mar without even hitting a ticket. Bet a $10 base exacta and raise 5. Split those 250,000 points just like that. Head to NairaBets.com to place your bet. We want to remind everyone watching on Fox Sports 2, we are going to sign off immediately after they cross the wire. So if you're watching on Fox Sports 2, you can head to Fox Sports Prime Ticket, Fox Sports San Diego, catch the conclusion of our coverage, or you can also go online to the Naira Bets app and see how this plays out. But we're going to be signing off very, very soon here as we get set for the start of this Pick 6 here coming up. Race 7 kicks it off. And our favorite right now, the 3-horse Uno Mas Modelo at 5-2. Let's send it upstairs to Larry Collmus for the call.
They're all in line. They're off. Long Haul Bay broke well. On the outside, it's Devil's Halo. Phi Beta Express is up and on the pace as they head up the backstretch. And then it's Rocking the Boat, followed by Cake Pop on the inside. And at the rear of the field here are Chris and Dave and Uno Mas Modelo. Up the backstretch they go, and it is Phi Beta Express the leader, with Devil's Halo pressing the pace on the outside second. Long Haul Bay is third to the outside of Rocking the Boat and Cake Pop along the rail. Chris and Dave is 5 lengths from the front, and Uno Mas Modelo 22.11 that opening quarter mile. Moving for the far turn, and Phi Beta Express and Kendrick Carmucci have opened up a length and a half. Devil's Halo second by the same over Long Haul Bay. Uno Mas Modelo begins to move on the outside, now up into fourth, and 4.5 lengths to make up. Down toward the inside comes Cake Pop as they make their way to the top of the stretch. The half was 44.79 seconds. They're into the stretch. Phi Beta Express is the leader, on top by 2 over Devil's Halo. Uno Mas Modelo kicks it in on the outside, has to come and get Phi Beta Express in the last 16th. Phi Beta Express by 2. Here comes Uno Mas Modelo. Here comes the wire. Uno Mas Modelo got up. over Phi Beta Express. And then it was Long Haul Bay and Devil's Halo.
Back-to-back wins for Javier Castellano, 3 on the afternoon. Uno Mas Modelo for the Anthony Quartarolo barn. This horse has reeled off 3 in a row.
Wow, big race by Phi Beta Express. I don't think it was him stopping as much as it was Uno Mas Modelo, the 3, putting in a last quarter of a mile that you won't see around here very often. This horse took off the last quarter of a mile.
Wow, boy, did he, Tom. You make a great point. Watch the yellow blinkers on the complete outside. And Andy and I are looking at each other, but watch, the whip is so overrated. He is not even going to the stick until late here, sort of flagging. He's not even hitting the horse here, Andy. Straight hand ride, and he was rolling.
So Uno Mas Modelo getting by Phi Beta Express to start off this pick 6. Want to remind again, everyone watching on Fox Sports 2, we are signing off. Coming up next on your network is NHR Drag Racing. If you'd like to watch the conclusion of our coverage here from Saratoga, you can head to Fox Sports Prime Ticket or Fox Sports San Diego. You can also head online to the Naira Bets app. Everyone else, we're sticking around. All right, so Uno Mas Modelo, 3-1 in here, 3 wins today for Javier Castellano. And this horse, 5-year-old son of Macho Uno, is on quite a roll. 2 wins here at the meet.
I think Tom was definitely right. Phi Beta Express wasn't stopping. This horse just came and got him. And, for Danny Gargan, who's a very good trainer, and you're having a tough meet, man. Horses like Phi Beta Express, they just find a way to get beaten. When they're going well, they hold on. But this was a nice win. And how about 5 wins, Tom, for our man Luch this year?
There he is right there with his daughter, waiting for that horse to come back to the winner's circle. Andy, did late money show in this horse? I thought the odds dropped late on this guy.
I think they were all hovering around 3-1. Long Haul Bay was the one who went to favoritism late. But that wasn't that late because Luch probably bet early, Tom.
Let's check in with Maggie Wolfendale.
I'm going to find out right now if Ron bet. Ron, you are having a sensational Saratoga meeting, especially with this horse. Uno Mas Modelo, he motored home.
Yeah, what an unbelievable horse. I mean, we put the blinkers on him back at Thistledown and gave him a start. And ever since we stretched him out a little bit, he's been unbelievable. What a kick he has. Unbelievable.
And getting Javier riding today, that had to feel pretty good.
Yeah, Eric rode the heck out of him last time, but he had to go to Florida to ride for Todd first call. And I called Javier's agent and said, please ride this horse. We really like him. And he gave him a world-class ride as usual.
Got some long shots in later. Who do you like?
I'll tell you what, if you leave Imperative off your tickets, you're in trouble. This horse worked really good. And I just hope he gets a clean trip, and we'll see what happens.
All right, Ron. Well, keep up the great work, you guys. And you and Anthony are having one heck of a meet.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
All right, Ron going to run and get his picture taken with Uno Mas Modelo here, guys.
He is not shy at taking shots in big races, is he? And yeah, he'll be sending out Imperative in the Grade 1 Woodward coming up later. 30-1 Morning Line. He says, don't count that long shot out.
I missed the equipment change. T-shirt off, sports coat on.
Very Miami Vice of him.
I should have noticed that. It says a lot about what he thought his horse was going to do.
Gets the win with a 5-year-old who is on a roll right now. And it's safe to say this horse really likes it at Saratoga. $8.70 for the victory. Uno Mas Modelo, now 6 wins from 27 career tries for Luch Racing Stables. Again, trained by Anthony Quartarolo. And Javier Castellano, his 3rd winner on today's card. Up next, we're going to kick off the Naira Bets late pick 5 sequence. If we're the only winning ticket on this Saturday afternoon and you play through Naira Bets, minimum single ticket payout of $300,000. It all begins next in race number 8. An allowance optional claiming race includes, of course, the Grade 1 Woodward, the Saranac, and the Glens Falls to cap it off at a mile and 3/8 over the inner turf, where Chad Brown has probably the 3 top horses to beat in that race. But it starts right here. This race, mile over the inner turf, an allowance optional claiming race, and it's another for trainer Bill Mott, who right now opens up as the 3-1 favorite.
Yeah, he does indeed. And another is a horse that certainly can make a case for a win here. Ran behind a slow pace early on and kind of caught up and still won the race, moving back to 2 turns. A couple of things to like about our favorite, the 7 horse, Another. But this is one of those wide open races. If you can form some strong opinions in this pick 5 coming up and spread out in some other races, you could easily be the only winning ticket in this thing. These are some big fields.
I'm told you put together a Naira Bet Slate Pick 5 ticket. What'd you come up with?
Am I allowed to say that I put one together with you? But
yes, you
anyhow,
are.
Here we are. So we are spread out here in our first leg. Greg, you're looking at your ticket for the first time, I believe. We narrow it down a little bit until we get to our last race with the girls. And I know that there's a 6-5 horse in there. We have them in our ticket, but I want to spread out in that last race. So in the 12th race, which is our stake on the grass for the fillies and mares, we're going to go 4, 5, and 8 in the Glens Falls, with the 5 being our heavy favorite that day in that spot.
All right, it is a tremendous sequence. It begins in 27 minutes. Get your handicapping hats on and get to work. We're going to take a break. Still to come at this meet on closing day, one of the favorite horses of everyone here at Saratoga, Voodoo Song. Can he collect another, going for his 6th win at the Spa Monday in the Bernard Baruch?
His record-breaking accomplishments on the racetrack paved his way here to the Stall of Legends. Now retired to stud, we welcome the dawning of a new era as this esteemed champion hopes to stake his claim to immortality. His blazing speed and striking good looks have been passed down to his remarkable first foals. Foals that will carry the flag of their famous father and one day hope to break records of their own. Medication-free and undefeated in sprint competition. Run happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
We have a man down in the paddock. It's been a fun summer here at Saratoga. A few more days left to enjoy it. Labor Day, closing day on Monday. By the way, for those watching right now, we want to remind you now, before I forget, 3 o'clock early start time tomorrow on Sunday afternoon here. It is Woodward Day today. We're getting set for the start of the Naira Bets Late Pick 5. If you're the only winning ticket, you play it through Naira Bets. Minimum guaranteed single winning ticket payout of $300,000 coming up. Monday on closing day, Bernard Baruch takes place in race 9. We'll get to see the great Voodoo Song one more time here this summer at Saratoga. He is 5 for 5 at the Spa, trying to go 6 for 6. His best moment here came last time out in the Grade 1 win in the 4-star Dave.
It was indeed. Went to the lead early, fought all the way to the end, and seemed an impossible winner turning for home with all he had to do early in the race. But this is what separates the really good ones from the ordinary ones. He catches that competition out of the corner of his right eye, and he digs in and takes him to the wire as the winner.
Incredible performance here. He is now reeled off back-to-back victories. He just keeps surprising everyone with his wins. He went for 40,000 claiming here last summer to start off that streak of winning 4 times in the meet, the first time since the 1950s that had ever been accomplished. So he went for 40 claiming. He won a New York bred entry-level allowance, stepped up, won against state bred again. Then when he won the Grade 3 Saranac, everyone thought, oh, well, what an overachieving, nice story. This summer, he's a Grade 1 winner.
And there's more to come. I mean, he's not done yet, is he? He's in top form. He's a Breeders' Cup horse for this year, and the horse is going to be around.
Yeah, that race, I mean, absolutely puts him in square contention for the Breeders' Cup Mile.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
So we will see him again. Closing day, Bernard Baruch on Monday, Grade 2, the great Voodoo Song, looking to go 6 for 6 here at Saratoga, and that record all happening over the last 2 seasons here at the Spa. We're going to take a break in the action. More coming up. The Naira Bets Late Pick 5. It kicks off in our next race. We'll be back.
How do New York breds perform? They win in world-class company. From Grade 1 races in Dubai, where New York-sired, New York bred Mind Your Biscuits won the Golden Shaheen for a second time, to Belmont adding to his status as the richest New York bred with a close second in the Met Mile. The Belmont Festival saw 2 more New York breds become millionaires, 4-star Crook in the New York Stakes, and world record-setter Disco Partner with a repeat victory in the Jaipur. New York breds, get with the program.
They're off. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets.
Rushes out of there to take the lead.
It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates.
Off the turn with a link to the half lead.
Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NairaBets.com.
So beautiful here at Saratoga Springs. Canoe in the winning colors are Robert LaPenta, Catholic boy, our Run Happy Travers winner just last weekend, switching back from turf to dirt, and his connections feeling maybe even better on dirt. Now they're eyeing the Breeders' Cup Classic.
Well, we'll see what these 3-year-olds do against older horses, because they've all kind of taken turns beating each other, but he is a new face of the party now that he's come back to the dirt, and he just dominated that group in the Run Happy Travers.
Race 8, start of this NYRA Bets late pick 5. Again, if you're the only winning ticket, $300,000 minimum single ticket payout if you play it through NYRA Bets. It's a mile on the inner turf, an allowance optional 80 claiming race. Hazim, one of 2 in here for trainer Chad Brown. He also sends out the 2 Vegas Kitten. This horse, though, second time out, wins here at Saratoga, going a mile, and he's worked sharp since.
He's worked very sharp. He sat behind a pace last time, got the right trip, finished well off of that, won by a head. Now he's going to step up to winners. Look, this horse, Hazim, the 10, he is going to try and face horses that have all done what he has done, including the second choice horse, the 7 another one coming out of a maiden win race.
So here's a look at his winning performance. Second time out here. It was August 2nd at Saratoga on the inner turf. And he'll be back on the inner turf today in just a professional effort here, beating a field of 7.
Was indeed. That's him. He's going to get up right there near the wire. It is going to be tight.
You know what my problem with this horse, Tom, is? Not that his talent, because he's obviously talented, and on talent, he could win this race for sure. But I think he's a bit of a distance challenge horse. I think a mile is a bit of a stretch for him. And he won last time. Frontier Markets now finished second, I think 4 straight times, a second-place finisher. But also, he got that perfect trip. He saved ground, angled out. It's the most perfect trip in a turf race, especially a 2-turn turf race. Saving ground, out, pop. Now he's got post 9 in a very competitive field. He's got to be used for position if he can even get position. And I think that has to mitigate his closing kick. And to me, his post position, more than anything else, makes him very vulnerable here.
Yeah, perhaps the pace too, Andy. When you look at this race, it's unusual for a straight 3-year-old race like this at this level not to have just a chalkload of speed in it, but I don't see it. Maybe the 8 Final Frontier with the blinkers on, but other than that, I don't see a lot of pace here.
I agree. Final Frontier is a horse with pedigree, a full to better lucky, a great one winning the grass that's supposed to go.
We were just talking about that, right.
I like another, though. I like the 7.
And there is another, and there is Bill Mott's numbers with a horse who broke his maiden last start in a turf route over the last 5 years, 24% win percentage.
Those are, you look at those numbers, Tom, and what it says is he's winning with about 1 out of 4, and they're $12 horses with a big sample size. So he's moving horses up off their maiden wins. And to me, that's a very important factor.
And this is a horse, the 7 horse, that I think the move to 2 turns from those 1-turn races at Belmont, those last 2 grass races, I think this is going to be a plus for the 7 another.
And he is a considerably improved horse, a typical Mott horse, right? He was slow as a 2-year-old, and he's gotten so much faster and better as a 3-year-old that I just think he's going to run well in here, win or lose.
You know, you guys keep talking about the 7, talking about other horses. The 5's the one that's taking all the money, and they're looking at the race 2 back. And what do they see? They see Raging Bull right there, and we're going to see Raging Bull in the next race in the Saranac, and it's probably going to be your favorite. So I have a feeling this horse is loaded and ready to go.
Do you think cutting back to a mile should help this horse? Because he didn't run well to mile and 8 last time.
Exactly. Yeah. And maybe, I know that was slowish pace, but that could be a horse that could take the initiative.
I agree. Jose Ortiz for sure.
Time for a paddock report. We're going to check in with Maggie Wolfadale. It's brought to you by Hillendale Farm, now standing Curlin for $150,000. Maggie?
Hey, Greg, and we're going to take a look at a horse who is searching for an identity, and that is number 6, Colt and Mississippi, as he shows up for this $80,000 tag for Todd Pletcher. But I think going a mile on the turf is actually what he wants to do. To me, he is more of a turf horse. Kind of picked that up going back to the Bridgetown when he was just 3rd, beaten half a length at Aqueduct. And since then, he's been in some tough types of spots. So here, getting back out to the mile, I think physically he is a little bit more inclined to handle more distance. And he looks great here. He looks strong for Todd, and he's going to be a big price, rightfully so, though, as we'll move on to a first-time turfer in number 8, Final Frontier. And I will be astonished if this horse doesn't take to this surface change. He has a turf hoof. Physically, he looks like a turf horse. He has that hind end of a turf runner. He puts the blinkers on as well, a French Cup too for Tom Albatrani. And going back to his last start, which was in June, he was coming off a bit of a layoff then as well. He was really hot and washy, and he just didn't make the greatest of appearances in the paddock in the preliminaries. And today, he's calm, cool, and collected. He looks fit. He looks ready to go. And I like this surface change for this guy. Number 7 is another here. And you guys brought up the stats with Bill Mott, improving his horses off of the maiden wins, and I can see that. He's actually put on quite a good bit of muscle mass, and I always like to see that. He's gotten a little hot in here, you know. We were watching him as they were trying to get the halter off of him, and he's got that one white eye, and he's got a little bit of a surly attitude here, but still, I like the fact that he's a bit stronger here overall, Andy.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, Maggie, you seem to be narrowing in on horses that I like here, and that always makes me happy. Paul, pick 5. Naira Betts late, pick 5.
Yeah, I had to take my shot in this race, and you can see the minimum $300,000 single ticket payoff on Saturdays, and you got to get involved. $187,000 so far in it. By the time this closes out, I would be surprised if it's up to $500,000, somewhere in that area. Listen, I had a single somewhere. I wish my name was Tom Amos because I literally want to grow up and try to be like Tom. But $36 there. I'm going to single the 10, and then I'm going to get to race the last race, race number 12, and I'm going to take On the Moon again over Santa Monica. You want to double that ticket, just use the other Chad Brown in there. I'm tired of Chad Brown winning. I thought the 10 was very professional last time out. I get it. It's the first time against winners, but a lot of these other horses have had chances against winners, so I'll take Chad here and see my fate early.
See what happens. You know, Maggie was talking about the 8 in this race, Final Frontier, if we can cross over to him. This horse is a full to Better Lucky, a Grade 1 winner on the turf. And if they decide to be aggressive, and I'm hoping the blinkers on is an indication they are, he could be the speed. And I love what Maggie had to say about him, and I think a very interesting player at an outrageously big price. You got nothing to add to that, Paul?
I thought it was going upstairs. No, you're right. I mean,
you
Better
were
Lucky.
Stunned by that?
Better Lucky was a runner. You're right. I mean, there's a lot of pedigree on the bottom of the 8. I thought it was going upstairs. I was waiting for Greg to take the ball.
The number 6, Colton, Mississippi. Why is Colton, Mississippi impossible in this spot? He couldn't get the sprint last time. That race was dominating the front end. We saw the 5th place finisher actually come back and win and run a nice race. He's a better router. He had an impossible trip 2 back, a crazy wide trip from a far outside post. Time before that, he was 3rd in the Penn Mile. We saw the horse was 2nd come back and win here on Travers Day on the turf.
You make a good point about being 3rd in the Penn Mile because he had a no-chance slot at Gulfstream. We talk about the outside slots have done good here. Gulfstream, you get the outside 10, 12, 11, 12, or 13. You really got no shot. So, yeah, the 6 in here right now at 13-1, Ricardo Santana Jr. aboard.
What about the 4, Strike Me Down, who ran well? Now, he too, last time, he too could be forwardly placed. My position in this race is you've got 3 runners, the 2, 3, and 4, all coming out of the 6th race in July 29th. I pitched them all.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. The one thing about Strike Me Down, the 4, is that this grade brings his game every time. 3rd, first time out going long over the turf, then over to Woodbine. And this horse was 4th in the Queen's Plate against Wonder Gadot and then came back and was 2nd against Prioritize. So the 4 is a horse that always tries very hard, and I would think it's going to be in your try or your super at least.
This is a super interesting race. A lot going on here. We've got over 50 horses contesting the final 5 races on today's card. It's going to be a wild Naira Betts late pick 5.
Yes, it is. Has the potential to maybe be that one winning ticket. There's $198,000 in that pool right now. But again, if you're the only winning ticket, you play it through Naira Betts, you'll get $300,000 minimum in your account as we hear the call to post behind us. Tremendous sequence. It all starts off with a race that is very tough right now, although it is Chad Brown's Hazim, who is favored 5-2 on the board from that outside post right now.
It is indeed, and I mean a likely favorite, right? But not an overwhelming favorite. So are you going to accept 5-2 on Hazim, the 10 horse here? I think there's value elsewhere.
There's Chad Brown, just set the record earlier, most wins ever at the meet, and a lot more ammunition, including 2 horses coming up here. He's got the 2 Vegas Kitten, 9-2 on the board, and the 5-2 favorite in the 10. But here's Zap Daddy to kick things off. Mike Maker, Kendrick Carmouche team up.
He better appreciate less distance because he has not been performing well enough against lesser to beat this field.
Vegas Kitten, the 2, 1 of 2 for Chad Brown. Son of Kitten's Joy. Blinkers go on today with Irad Ortiz Jr.
Got to win 3 back over soft turf at Keelan. You know, this horse has run now 4 different racetracks and 4 different starts. Finally gets to stay at home for a race.
Outback Bob, the 3, trained by Ralph Nix. Luis Saez aboard.
Part of the blanket finish in his last start, needs to run better, but he has 1 race going back that gives him a chance.
Strike Me Down has Joel Rosario aboard for trainer Graham Motion, coming off a big effort here at Saratoga.
Yeah, a little unlucky to have only 1 win on his resume with 3 seconds.
The man behind the man, trained by Jorge Abreu, will have Jose Ortiz.
And Jorge Abreu, the man behind the man, was the assistant trainer to Chad Brown. He is having a sensational meet with 7 wins.
Colt in Mississippi is going to stretch back out for Todd Pletcher. Ricardo Santana Jr. aboard.
He gets back to that race. 3 starts going the Penn Mile. He can be included here at 12-1.
Another is the Belmont runner, actually opened as the favorite. He is 4-1 right now, and Junior Alvarado rides.
I'm hoping he takes another step forward. If he does, he can win this race for sure.
Final Frontier, it's the turf debut stretching out as well. Blinkers go on for Tom Albertrani.
Yeah, a couple turf winners obviously on the bottom side, with Better Lucky being the best one. Blinkers go on, stretching out. A lot of things happening here with the 8.
And Hazim, the favorite for Chad Brown with Javier Castellano.
I thought it was good last time, but Andy makes a good point that he has to get in that same type of position. I'm wondering if he's going to be laying second or third in here, maybe up close a little bit.
So that's your field here for the start of this Naira Bets. Late pick 5. 7 horse on the board at 4-1 here for trainer Bill Mott. That is another coming off a victory last start. That was at Belmont at a mile, Tom.
It was at Belmont at a mile, and that's a 1-turn mile in a race that Andy watches those races a lot more than I do, but the pace seemed to be slow that day. He broke and laid about 5th and then got involved because of the slow pace and won. I think he's going to like this change to 2 turns.
I'm a fan of another in here. I think there's a lot of things to like about him. Thought he ran very well in that race 2 back. I mean, admission office and Frontier marketing just continuing to move forward. He got a good trip last time, and you could even argue the second place finisher, Strategic Outlook, ran a better race. But I just love how Bill Mott's horses take those moves forward off of maiden wins.
Yeah, you're right. And they've taken a move forward here, period. And this Colt has not run here. So that's a little bit scary because all of his horses have sort of moved up here at Saratoga.
Yeah, no, it's true. Now, I think he, like a lot of horses, has probably been entered earlier at the meet and was reined off. There's so many horses. You know, I think a lot of people see horses that have gaps and they just don't realize they were reined off the turf earlier in the meet, sometimes more than once.
225,000 plus in the pool and still growing as we look at Hazim in here, 3-1 mild favorite. He did win back on August 2nd. We showed you that performance. Javier Castellano looking for another winner this afternoon. He's having a big day. It's kind of a mild favorite on the board.
Yeah, I think what is maybe has people a little bit hesitant about Hazim, the 10 horse, is that, as Andy mentioned and the replays bore out, this is a horse that really needs it to set up for him, needs some pace up front. In this field of 9 horses, I just don't see a lot of pace other than a horse that's going to try the grass for a first time, the 8 Final Frontier, and how he takes to it is how he's going to run in terms of whether he demonstrates the same speed he's shown in the dirt or not. Not all horses that go from one surface to another do that.
You know, and Tom, I want to make another point about that with the lack of pace, at least on paper. Doesn't mean they won't move. But there's nothing worse than getting a far outside post, especially in a race like this where you hit the turn very quickly when there isn't much pace. Because if there isn't much pace, the field stays bunched. And if that happens, it's just going to be almost impossible for Hazim to get the position he might need to win this race.
I think that's a really good point.
Yeah,
I totally agree with that.
I get that, but let me ask you another quick question, both of you. Could Hazim be the fastest horse in this race early? I mean, if you look, 108 and change, 120, last time right on the pace in 112 and 2.
It's not Chad Brown's style.
I know it's not his style.
It's not a bad point, and it's the kind of one I might say to him, you should go. It's not a bad point. It's not his style, though.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I don't think, Paul, I see inside that horse, I see another being more forwardly placed than Hazim, the 7 horse.
Another, the Bill Mott runner, the 7, but of course Chad Brown, he has another runner in this horse, not by the same name, named Vegas Kitten, with more on that runner. Let's go to Maggie Wolfendale.
Thanks, Greg. And Vegas Kitten is a horse that I've always thought that he wants to go longer than this. Looking at him physically, you know, he's got a real even type of build to him, not much behind the saddle, but the blinkers go on here today, just a shortcut. We see that Irad Ortiz is giving him a warm-up alone, and I will say that relative to his previous efforts, a bit more awake than what I've seen from him in the past. So are we trying to elicit maybe a little bit more positional speed here with Vegas Kitten? Number 4 is Strike Me Down. As you see, he's wearing cheater blinkers that actually have a hood, so earmuffs over his ears as well. Now he's worn that in his last couple efforts, so it's something that settles him down quite nicely. He was really calm and cool in the paddock. I like that about him. We'll see. He's a horse that kind of gets there but doesn't really get it done. So those seconds are starting to add up to me. Number 10 is Hazeem here for Chad Brown as well, and he's one that, going back to his first effort, I did not think he was fit whatsoever, yet he gets beat closely behind Hangman that day, comes back and trumps that as he looked a lot more fit in his Saratoga performance. And today, he looks really fit, guys. I mean, he's just really tucked up. He's taken on a completely different physical form than going back to that first effort on June 14th. But I'm getting pretty daring here. I'm taking the 20-1 shot. First-time turfer in Final Frontier. He's made a huge improvement from the last time I'd seen him. And he's a Ghost Sapper full to Better Lucky, who is a graded stakes winner on the turf. I'm taking a shot, Greg.
Big number. And Tom, you had mentioned this horse to me as well, that you were intrigued with this horse's pedigree-wise as well, debuting on the grass today.
Yeah, look, Andy said it downstairs. I looked it up as well. You know, you've got a half to a Grade 1 stakes winner on the turf in Better Lucky, and competitive throughout the year in graded stakes. So on pedigree, for sure. But as we look at this field getting ready to go to the gate, I do want to talk about one long shot that maybe we should be thinking about in our exotics, and that's the 3-horse Outback Bob. Second time gelding for Ralph Nix. His earlier races would be competitive here. I like second time geldings. It seems to be the race that they step up in the second time after they've been gelded. I got my eye on the 3 Outback Bob, and for the value in terms of odds, I'm liking that at 18-1.
Yeah, listen, I fooled around here. I keyed the number 7 and other, but I used both the 6 Colts in Mississippi and the 8 Final Frontier and Exactas. I'm looking for those long shots to get involved with the 7 and other. I understand the 10-horse Azem can win this race. I think he's a vulnerable horse at the shortest price. Vulnerable. Doesn't mean he can't win.
Wow, throwing just all kinds of bombs in here. Couple of 19-1 shots that intrigue some of our analysts here as we take a look at Colt in Mississippi for trainer Todd Pletcher. Ricardo Santana Jr. here on board. And he was very competitive in the Grade 2 Penn Mile against a good one named Hawkish.
Yeah, look, he's already won this condition. The only way he stays eligible to run this race is by running for the claim and risking somebody reaching in and paying $80,000 to bring that horse to their barn. He couldn't run in this race if he didn't run for the claim, so he has to do it. Coming off that sprint and the quick call, maybe shows more tactical speed, becomes a little bit more involved early. You know, this could be the kind of race that is set up for Todd with those blinkers off in that last start and the quick call. Maybe makes some sense here.
I think the last time he got a reasonable trip in a race was the Penn Mile, and he ran well enough to be a factor here, and he's 14-1. I don't think he's the likeliest winner, and no one here would say that, but I don't think he's a horse that's supposed to pay $30 if he wins.
No, I get it. I think they wanted to go around 2 turns or didn't know if he can go around 2 turns. But the Penn Mile, he proved them all wrong. I mean, that was a good effort. And listen, like I said, when you get to 10-hole at Gulfstream, you just don't have a shot.
That race was won wire to wire, the race 2 back, and he was wide the entire way around the racetrack. He just had an absolute no-shot trip. And frankly, given the trip, I don't even think he ran that badly.
Well, I think the common theme here is that this race is wide open. Yep. Start off this Naira Bets late pick 5. Where do the singles come from? You have the Grade 3 Saranac next. That's a difficult race as well. The spin away, maybe it's the sister to American Pharoah chasing yesterday, the Triple Crown champion. But before you say, I want to single that horse in the spin away, remember American Pharoah got beat here at the graveyard of favorites.
He did indeed. You know, what are you trying to do? You're just bumming out 90% of the pick 5 players that are playing this pick 5 because you can believe that they're there with chasing yesterday in the 10th race. And if they've used anybody else in that race, it's been maybe one other.
I'll say
that is where the only place you can narrow it down, in my opinion.
Today's
Andy.
last race, the 12th, I mean, it's not a single, but couldn't you try to just use the 3 On the Moon again and the 5 Santa Monica and feel pretty confident when one of those 2 horses winning?
I can go for that. I went 3, 4, 5 in the last leg. But I mean, this pick 5 has a real heck of a chance with so many possibilities in the big fields to be a single payoff. It really does.
Yeah.
A little Hall & Oates reference there, Tom. You can go for that. And I can't believe you're not going to go for Restless Rider.
Tom was the 3rd member of Hall & Oates. He's like Billy Preston being the 5th Beatle. Tom Amos, 3rd member of Hall & Oates.
Restless Rider in the spinaway. You're the one that told me about her.
Yeah, well, you watched the race together, Paul. I showed it to you yesterday. What'd you think?
I tell you what, that was pretty impressive. I think that's the main danger to the Baffert horse.
Yes.
the 11 filly in the spin away for Kenny McPeak. And she is definitely garnering a lot of attention after her performance in that stakes victory when she had all kinds of traffic trouble, still went on to win by more than 11 lengths in the debutante. That is later to come. We got to get through this first leg. Good luck to everyone in the Naira Bets Late Pick 5. It is Hazim for trainer Chad Brown, the 10 horse, who is the favorite. Let's send it upstairs to the voice of New York Racing for the call, Larry Collmus.
Hazim coming up to the outside stall here. Goes in, and they're all in line. They're off. A clean beginning as the man behind the man goes out to the early lead from Final Frontier, Colton, Mississippi. Hazim on the outside, Zap Daddy, Vegas Kitten behind them. And then it's another Outback Bob and Strike Me Down. Into that first turn, the man behind the man in front, just a little bit wide into that turn. On the outside is Final Frontier, a length and a half behind. Zap Daddy is third on the inside as they make their way to the backstretch. Then Colton, Mississippi, Hazim outside of them. Toward the inside, it's Vegas Kitten. Another is next, and they went 24.04 for the opening quarter mile. Outback Bob is at the back of the field alongside of Strike Me Down. Up front, it's the man behind the man who leads the way up the backstretch by 2 lengths over Final Frontier. Zap Daddy is third on the inside. Hazim is fourth. Colton, Mississippi rides the rail fifth, 4 lengths from the front. And then it's another, followed by Vegas Kitten, who's got 6.5 lengths to make up at this stage. Strike Me Down and Outback Bob. 48.7 was the half mile for Jose Ortiz and the man behind the man who lead the way by 3/4 of a length. As Final Frontier edges up closer, and Hazim is a length and a half off of them. Now being pushed on for more by Javier Castellano. Zap Daddy is down on the inside. Another swings up on the far outside. Colton, Mississippi, Strike Me Down, and Vegas Kitten, they're into the stretch. Final Frontier, Hazim on the attack on the outside. The man behind the man starts to give way toward the rail. Here comes Strike Me Down, charging down the center with each and every stride. Final Frontier, Hazim, Strike Me Down on the far outside. Here's the wire. Strike Me Down. No, I don't know. Strike Me Down and Final Frontier were right there together on the wire. It was dead tight. Hazim was third between those two.
I know Paula Duke is a lot better at this than I am. I believe Final Frontier just barely hung on at 25-1 as we take one more look here down the stretch.
Oh my gosh, this is close.
Wait, something's
I'm going to tell you something.
Something's happening here,
Something
guys.
happened because, and the 8 did hold on, I believe, Final Frontier, and I hope he stays up. But something happened there because it feels like late they finished farther out in the stretch than they were much earlier, but I could be wrong.
I can't tell if Joel Rosario's lugging in with the 4 because he stops riding the horse at the end of this, and I don't know if the other horse is coming out or not.
The 10 didn't steady at all in there, which indicates maybe that the 8 wasn't coming out, right?
Well, you can see, look at the head turned on the 4 sideways down lane. Now we're going to take a look at it. Here we go. You got the 8 on the front end, the 4. Ooh, 8 comes out, 4. Wow, this is a Jersey squeeze on the 10 here.
Does feel like, I mean...
The 10 got the worst of it in between here, but hey.
I need Final Frontier to hold on, but I got a feeling this one's going to be a long inquiry.
This is the 8 coming out to the 10.
I'd love another look at that.
Oof. They put the Jersey squeeze on the 4 was lugging in,
already
and the 8 was lugging out, and the 10 in between horses got sandwiched, and this could be very interesting and very long.
All right, so there is a lot to look at here. The 8, the 4 to the outside, the 10 in between them. And certainly we saw Final Frontier initiate a little bumping, but was there any more than that?
I need another look at this, and I need the head-on. The pan tells very little. The head-on is going to determine exactly what happened here.
Yeah, I think we saw that. Here's the head-on is on the other thing.
Oh, that's a look there as they come down to the stretch. You see Jose Lezcano, Final Frontier in those Godolphin blue silks. He will switch to the left-handed stick there. White blinkers. 10 horse in the white and blue cap. 4 horse to the outside in red. Oh, and there's that initial bump.
Oh, the 8 clearly bumped the 10. There's no question about it. No question. And it may have affected the 4 as well.
Yeah, that's the problem that you have, is that the 4 started to come in and the 8 came out at the same time. And it doesn't look good for a 25-1 shot. And it's a bad beat. The 4 just, Rosario never rode the horse out here late, but
I'm going to say something, Paul, though. I bet a few dollars to win on the 8, and I'm going to say, without that bumping, I don't think he holds on.
Okay, I'm going to say this. I want to go back to it again, and you tell me the 4 doesn't hit the 10 before the 8 hits the 10.
That's also possible. We'd have to see the head on again, and we're not looking at it right now.
But the 4 lugs in on the 10, hits the 10 first, then the 8. Here we go. Now watch the front end here. Watch the 4 lugging in, coming in, makes contact with the 8 a tiny bit there, or 10, then the 8 finishes the 10 off. Now the 4 finishes the 10 off. I mean,
I'm going to say the 8 caused contact by coming out and pushing the 10 and the 4, Paul.
10 did come in slightly first. Slightly.
So look, here. I mean, Jose Lezcano hits left-handed and comes off a couple of passes off the rail before they even get to the point where they all make contact, but he stays left-handed. And that's so telling here. I know it's slight, but you knock the horse off balance. The judges are going to look at this, and they're going to see the same thing we see, is that the 8 horse never stopped hitting left-handed. And they're going to talk to these riders. They're going to ask them. They're going to say, hey, Jose, why didn't you go to a different stick? Because when you were hitting left-handed right here, you're already coming over. And nothing's even happened yet.
They have to take Final Frontier down here. I think it's a fully justified disqualification. And I bet a few dollars on him at 25 to 1.
He's the one that caused it.
I'll tell you,
there's no question about it.
Yeah,
in my mind.
it is the one that caused it. I'll tell you what, but Joel Rosario's lucky because he had a handful of the 4, and the 4 is a culprit here too. The thing about this is there's only an objection on the 8 and the 4. Meanwhile, the 10 got sandwiched. But they're right. The 10 was never beating these 2 horses. But a foul's a foul. But, hey, I think the 8 comes down here and they change this to 4, 8, 10. But the problem is to me, I thought the 10 was retaking off, but the 4, Rosario did not want to cause any more, guys. It didn't even look like he was going to go by, and he wasn't even riding the horse later.
Is there any chance the 4 could also be in trouble here?
Yeah, there could be a double takedown, definitely.
I don't see it.
I think the 8 is a clear-cut culprit
chain
here.
reaction caused by the 8. But I will tell you, I went on the NYRA.
Now 3 on the board.
There you go.
So here you go.
How many pats did the 4 come in? I mean, that's the other part here, too, that probably the stewards are looking at.
So, look, I went on the NYRA website, and I read these stewards' decisions because we've had enough of them this meet that it's interesting reading. And the one thing that stands out to me about these decisions is in every case, the stewards are making a determination on whether or not the bump or whatever happened, in this case the bump, was something that was going to change the placement of where these horses finished. That is so hard for a human being to determine in a race like this. I'm surprised it's even part of the rule. I'm surprised it's even part of the rule because in other jurisdictions it's not that. A foul is a foul. But yet in every steward's decision here, there's an opinion on every one of them on whether it cost a placing to the horse that is that got hampered. So in this case, the question is, did the 8 cause a problem for the 10 or the 4 in terms of placement?
Again, the 8 horse.
I mean, the 4 hit again. The 4 hit the 10 first. I'm not saying that the 8 is not at fault here, but we cannot dismiss that the 4 hit the 10 first, lugging in. And then the 8 made it worse.
If Chad Brown gets put up from 3rd, the tinfoil hat guys are going to be going insane on Twitter.
I get it, but
we could see it happen.
My point is, look at this again. You trying to tell me again? There is no contact yet. No contact. The 4 is coming in. The 4 hits the 10 right there before the 8 ever makes contact. Then it turns into a bump fest. Who took the worst of it? The 10.
I hear you on that, Paul, but I think that the 8 is the culprit and caused the whole tightening.
Can we see that win picture again? I want to point something out to you on that win picture. Because on the outside horse,
he's looking at
our 4 horse, in the win picture, at that point, Rosario's got his head cocked completely to the outside. If his head is straight in that win picture, his head is down for the win. But he's going to pull him off that inside horse.
Yeah,
red cap
and
outside.
That head being cocked like that is how the horse comes to the wire. If that head is straight, he doesn't lose by a nose, he wins. Take a good look at it. He got beat how far? A small nose, and look at his head. He's looking at us on the 4 horse.
And Paul's right, he's lugging in a bit, but Joel kept him off the other horses. To me, the 8 caused this entire incident and is supposed to come down. And, you know, if Jose Lezcano keeps whipping him right-handed, Tom, he probably finishes 3rd.
All I know is that Javier Castellano kept the straightest line of the 3 jockeys.
He was the victim. He was the victim. He was unlucky.
So my point is where is the foul? You're saying a foul is a foul. Rosario's horse came in.
But he didn't make
Lezcano's
contact
horse came out. Castellano's horse stayed straight. This is what's wrong with the rules.
8-4-10-1. The top 3 finishers on the board all flashing. Let's go to Maggie Wolfendale.
Well, guys, one thing I can tell you that is completely objective here is that Strike Me Down is the only horse to go home. We still see Final Frontier and number 10, Haizim, walking around. So I don't know if they feel that confident that Strike Me Down is going to be put up and Final Frontier taken down from the winner's position. We shall see. But in talking with the connections of Final Frontier, you know, Jimmy Bell of Godolphin said to me, you know, it did happen a stride and a half before the wire. How much does that affect the outcome? Do they take that into consideration? I agree with Paul in that number 4, Strike Me Down, was the initiator. Now, whether they do find Final Frontier at fault as well with interference with Haizim, that's yet to be seen. They can go either way here, but this is taking it off. Oh, they took them both down. So Haizim has been elevated to first, Final Frontier to second. Haizim, Greg, does get the win. Obviously, he was the one who took the worst of it.
When you're going good, you're going good. You're the meet's leading trainer. You just set a record of the meet. Double DQ to get you number 42 for Chad Brown as Haizim now moved up to the win here to start off this Naira Bets late pick 5.
I don't know the last time I've experienced one of these.
Tom,
That's
Tom,
amazing.
why wasn't the 8 put below the 4? Didn't the 8 also hurt the 4, though?
That's exactly what they must be saying. They must be saying exactly that. But I think it's damning that the 8 horse has his head cocked all the way to the outside as he's trying to pull him off of Final Frontier. Excuse me, off of Haizim.
But I guess what I said about having a double takedown, I should have taken odds.
So, new order of finish. It originally was 8-4-10-1. The 10-horse Haizim between those 2 horses getting bounced around. There's Chad Brown. New order of finish 10-8-4-1. And that is a massive change here in this Naira Bets late pick 5. A 25-1 shot crossed the wire first. Instead, slight second choice at 3-1.
Greg, do you know what a stupor is? Have you ever heard of stupor?
A drunken stupor?
Well, no, I've seen you like that. But a
Okay.
stupor is someone that goes around the grandstand and picks up discarded tickets and tries to cash them. This change is a stupor's dream, to go around and pick up tickets that people think are no good and cash them.
Tom, you know that's illegal to do that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I've never done anything illegal in my life, and I don't want to start now.
Okay, good. Good to hear. There's Javier Castellano in a win that he probably thought he was not going to get. But how about that? He collects his 4th winner on today's card via double disqualification in here. So Haizim with the win. Let's go to Maggie.
Here with Javier Castellano, who is white hot. I'm feeling radiation coming off of him, but Haizim here, he took the worst of this, didn't he, Javi?
Absolutely. Yeah, Maggie, you can see the horse is going to go by to the inside horse, the pacemaker, but the inside horse, he come on, he bump it, and the other horse, he coming in, bump it. 2 horses, I just got beat by neck. I think these 2, they did the right decision in this case. I know sometimes it's hard to, it's a lot of criticize, but I get the worst part in the race. I think he should have deserved to win the race.
Javier riding lights out. Any feeling that you were going to have this big of a day? 4 consecutive wins, and there's still quite a few to go.
You never know. In this game, when you book your horses, you see the program. A lot of horses, very light horses for today. Hopefully everything going well. Thank God, everything going well so far.
Well, Javier, congratulations on a big day already.
Thank you, Maggie.
All right, we'll see if he can keep it going here, Greg.
Well, he's 6 wins behind the meet's leading jockey. That is Irad Ortiz Jr. So take one more look. And by the way, 6-win day. Not out of possibilities here for Javier Castellano, who is well stacked in each of the remaining races on the card. He is in between horses there in those Shadwell Stable Silks. Blue and white striped cap. That's a dangerous position to be in. How good are things going for Chad Brown right now? Double DQ to get his 42nd winner of the meet. Dramatic fashion. We'll be back with more Saratoga Live right after this.
Switches back to the outside. Exaggerator down to the 16th pole. But Exaggerator has turned the tables. He has won the Preakness. He has won the Travers over American Fame.
Irish War Cry has won the Wood Memorial.
Good Magic's gonna win.
the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets.
Rushes out of there to take the lead.
It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates.
Off the turn with a length and a half lead.
Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NairaBets.com.
Welcome back to an action-packed Saratoga Live. We've pretty much had it all in the show, and there's still 4 stake races to come at Saratoga. None more incredible than the 14-horse Woodward. And Paul, let's quickly talk about that race. Where are you going in there and why?
Gosh, I couldn't believe I landed on this horse, but I landed on Taproot, Andy. And the reason why is I just think that the 1 1/8 is what he wants. He didn't want the sloppy racetrack. And I think the other part about this is he needs to get going in stride. And there's no diversify in here that he's seeing 20 lengths in front of him and saying, you know what, I'm done running here. You know what I mean?
And I'll tell you, like, of the major contenders, the horses that have been effective in Grade 1 races, he far and away draws the right post in here. Today is the day Taproot needs to put up or shut up. I went to the 10, and he'll be more forwardly placed than my pick, Seeking the Soul. And the problem with a horse like Seeking the Soul, who I picked, is the possibility of real traffic issues in a 14-horse field exists, and that can hurt the Gunaveras and Seeking the Soul's world. I love the way Seeking the Soul has been prepared for this race, much the way we saw last year with Forever Unbridled and Dallas Stewart. The last race not as bad as some might think, and he's a Grade 1 winner. I'm taking Seeking the Soul and Javier Castellano on what's turning into quite a magical day for him.
Yeah, there's only, are we making this too difficult? There's only 2 Grade 1 winners on dirt in this race. Seeking the Soul is one of them. The other, of course, our Belmont Stakes winner in Taproot.
Are you saying you're picking against Chad Brown in this race? Because I'm not. I'm not picking against Chad Brown the rest of the day. The 7-horse, Kurlov, a horse that I really think overcame a trip because the speed really collapsed in the last time he ran the Alydar. I know it's a tougher group. The 7-horse, Chad Brown, all day.
Paul, had one quick question for you, my friend.
I'm ready.
Paul LaDuca.
Yes.
Can I get 2 scoops of mint chip ice cream on a sugar cone, please?
Anytime you want, friend. And by the way, don't ever question my eye when it comes to a double DQ or a photo.
New record for wins at the meet. Chad Brown, 41, make it 42 via double DQ. We're on at 3 tomorrow.